Good morning, friends. We are discussing about the module 4 and we are starting a new chapter, environmental pollution. And in this chapter, we will be discussing about the primary air pollutants. And under that, we are studying about the oxides of sulfur, oxides of carbon, oxides of nitrogen, particulate matter, lead, mercury, etc. And we will be discussing the secondary air pollutants. Under that, we will be discussing about the ozone and ozone depletion. Let us start with the environmental pollution. What is pollution? How it is caused in the environment? When we say about the pollution, the man or a human to get is to be very comfortable and for mastering and conquering nature, man has not only introduced several new substances into the environment but also has caused an enormous increase in the concentration of some substances in the environment and substances already present in the environment. These substances tend to upset biological cycle by disturbing the flora and fauna and ultimately affect the vital activity of man. The important factors that affect the global environment are the air pollution, ozone depletion, global warming. In all this, chemicals and chemical reactions play a vital role and hence the importance of environmental chemistry. If you are aware about the environmental pollution, you can make awareness to the many, right? And pollution of air is caused by automobile exhaust gases, combustion of fossil fuels, and several products of the chemical industry. These substances do not remain stable in the atmosphere. They are carried away by winds or reach the earth's surface through rain. Many of these substances are toxic. Coming to the pollution of water, which is caused by the petrol and petroleum products, industrial domestic wastes, by detergents, chemical fertilizers and pesticides. And coming to the soil pollution is caused by the solid wastes like refuse dumps and slimes from industrial and mining activities, dust and soot, and from domestic garbage. Like, what is generally pollution? The pollution is defined as the discharge or addition of undesirable substances into the environment, thereby causing adverse change in the natural quality of the environment and causing damage to human, plant and animal lives. The atmosphere. What is atmosphere? What do we say? We are using the word atmosphere. What is atmosphere? Atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere and biosphere constitute the four segments of the Earth's environment. The atmosphere is a blanket of gases extending height up to approximately 2000 kilometers. And the air is essentially a mixture of nitrogen, oxygen with small amounts of other gases such as carbon dioxide, noble gases, methane and so on. Among these constituents are the oxides of carbon, oxides of sulphur and oxides of nitrogen and ozone are regarded as pollutants if they are present in concentrations in excess of maximum permissible limits. What is the excess of maximum permissible limits? For example, any of these gases are present. In a natural air, atmospheric air, sulfur is already present, nitrogen is present, and carbon is also present. But it will not be considered as a pollutant. It will not be considered as a pollutant. It is considered as pollutant only if it is present beyond maximum permissible limits. That means if it is present in up to certain concentrations, it will not harm any living things on the atmosphere. If it starts harming the atmospheric things like living beings, humans or any other things, it is regarded as a pollutant. And coming to the primary air pollutants, as it is said just now, there are mainly 5 air pollutants, that is oxides of sulfur, oxides of carbon, oxides of nitrogen, particulate matter, lead, etc. And anything present in more than maximum permissible limits is considered as a pollutant. Let's start with the first one, oxides of sulfur. How the sulfur will be entering into the atmosphere? Sulfur enters to atmosphere by natural sources and also by anthropogenic source. What is anthropogenic source? Anthropogenic source means man-made sources. The sulfur which is coming out from all man-made activities are called as anthropogenic sources, which is mainly due to the combustion of all the fossil fuels. All the fossil fuels contain sulfur. When it is used in the automobiles, it will be coming out from the automobile exhaust as oxides of sulfur. After coming to the atmosphere, it will be converted into sulfur dioxide and also to sulfur trioxide. And the natural sources, when we consider, from naturally the sulfur is entering into the atmosphere by oxidation of sulfur gases and decay of plants and in mining of sulfur ores, and also in volcanoes also emit sulfur dioxide. Next, coming to the ill effects of sulfur, concentrations of 20 ppm in air affects the digestive tract and cause high irritations, and present of 400 to 500 ppm is dangerous. Plants are damaged at much lower concentrations than at which human health is affected. 0.6 ppm lead to leaf damage in sensitive plants, and also yellowing of papers, corrosion of metals, etc. These are all caused due to the presence of sulfur in the atmosphere. And a major disorder of sulfur is sulfur trioxide, and sulfur will be present in the atmosphere as a sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. And when the process of during the process of draining, these oxides of sulfur will be reacting with the water and will be forming sulfuric acid rain. The major causes of acid rain are the presence of sulfur and nitrogen in the atmosphere in the form of peroxides, that is oxides of sulfur and oxides of nitrogen. When these two are combining with water, it will be forming nitric acid and sulfuric acid rain, which is one of the major cause for spoilage of the old monument and discoloration of the marbles, etc. And also what happens, the rainwater, when it is mixed, generally it will be acidic in nature and will be dissolving some amount of the carbon dioxide which is present in the atmosphere. Even that is a reason for causing leaching on plants and also spoilage of the monuments. And how can we control the sulfur dioxide pollution? We can control by, like, the major source of sulfur dioxide, as we know, it's from burning of the fossil fuels. It can be controlled by, like, we should use a fuel which does not contain any sulfur or sulfur components. That is one of the method. Or we should use catalytic converters in the automobiles, which converts the harmful form into non-harmful form of the gases. Harmful form of the oxides of sulfur into non-harmful forms it will be converting into, and it will be emitted to the atmosphere. That is done by fixing the catalytic converters in the automobiles. And next is by removing the sulfur as sulfur dioxide from the emitted gases, and which is done by passing the emitted gases. This can be done by passing the emitted gases. The gas emission is sent through a slurry which contains calcium carbonate. When we pass this emitted gases through a slurry of calcium carbonate, what happens here is the sulfur dioxide is converted into the calcium sulfate, that is CaSO3, and then it will be oxidized to calcium sulfate, CaSO4, and then it is let off to the atmosphere. And in another method, we can also, by using another method, we can control the oxides of sulfur. That is by the finely powdered limestone is mixed with the coal and roasted in a bed chamber and fluidized by passing air at 800 to 1000 degrees. Even by this procedure, we can reduce the oxides of sulfur up to some extent. Thank you. Have a good day. Next topic, we will be discussing about the oxides of carbon.